Hey, recording this video Saturday 9th of February 2013. Got a great email on Friday from Miles, who had a question about Better Pro-Am. Miles is a subscriber to the site and user of the Better Indicators, and he said he had some difficulties kind of interpreting what was going on Friday, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time going through that email and responding to it. But before I do that, I just want to say a big thank you to all the subscribers to Emini-Watch. I've been, no surprise, bearish, very bearish over the last 10 days or so. I'm looking for this left shoulder to be made on the market and for us to have a little bit of a sell-off. And each time we break through 1500, we kind of get caught up, we kind of head back to new highs, bust some stops and so on. Friday's activity was no different. Thursday we kind of held and had a reversal day, and Friday we pushed to new highs, ran a whole bunch of stops up in the teens, and yet again this breakdown has not happened. But I haven't received any emails saying, you idiot, of course this thing's going higher, we're not going to roll over forever, and blah blah blah. So thank you. I feel big enough of an idiot anyway, trying to call this kind of breakdown on the market too early, so that no one's emailed me and told me to my face I'm an idiot. I really appreciate. So thank you to all the subscribers out there. At some point we'll get this left shoulder be made, and we'll have that little bit of a sell-off. Whether it happens in the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks, I'm not sure. I still stick by my bearish kind of conviction because I see all the other charts starting to roll over, but obviously the Emini hasn't done it yet, so we'll wait and see. So let's get to this email from Miles. So Miles said on Friday, grateful for all the work you do. Having been following for a bit and used your indicators to trade, which I love, I seem to misinterpret Pro-Am indicator the most. I've attached a PDF explaining my thinking that went along on Friday's trades. If you don't mind sharing your thoughts on it, I'd appreciate it. So let's just look at Friday's trade on the 1500 tip bar chart, because that's the easiest kind of look at, and Better Pro-Am, and let me just go through what I think was going on. Now, just a note, I wasn't trading on Friday. I watched the market. I'd had a very good Thursday, and I was up for the week and was quite happy. I got up on Friday morning at 4:30 here Hawaii time just to look at it, kind of to see if we were going to roll over, but as soon as we broke to new highs and started busting stops, my heart wasn't on it, just didn't want to trade it. So I didn't trade on Friday, but let me just run you through what I think the interpretation of the Better Pro-Am would be throughout that day. So just running into Thursday into Friday's trade on 1500. So on Thursday we had this sell-off and a reversal day on Thursday. We'd had our exhaustion selling, first bullish divergence and flush pattern, which kind of sets us up for a change in trend, and then finally looking for price confirmation with a pullback to dirty end of trend. This little exhaustion pattern is a short covering rally, just showing everybody kind of needing to cover as they were kind of trailing their stops kind of down here. We end up with a Rambo pattern with exhaustions, unstable, the amateurs kind of having to get long at that point, and we come back down to test the lows, blue professional bars kind of come in, and then we're away. Now, although we had a little bit of exhaustion into the close or midday on Thursday's activity and a pullback to end of trend sequence, I'm always looking for that exhaustion pattern during the full liquidity of the open, and that's what we got on Friday. So we had a little bit of a gathering pattern, blue professional bars at the open above resistance or close to a resistance level, and we busted up into all of those stops that were run. Very big reading on Better Momentum. It was about over 20,000, almost 30,000 here, showing the strength of all of those stops being run. Then we came into first bearish divergence, a pullback to end of trend sequence with blue professional bars at the highs here, and we get almost the same thing, a roll off here into an exhaustion selling. So like the short covering rally on the way on the bottom of the reversal day on Thursday, on Friday a little bit of a rush here, people kind of taking profits and getting out of those long trades. Now, Better Pro-Am. So first thing of the day, that's a little bit of a gathering pattern, all those blue professional bars. As we break the highs of that, you can see there's another little blue professional bar here, just getting this move going. That's jumping the creek into these new highs, and then we run all of those stops on the way up above kind of 1509, 1510. We see the first blue professional bar with a pro signal exit where they're taking profits up here. Happens to be a Rambo pattern, so this gets to a level here where these are either kind of amateurs who are kind of busted out of moves, or they're kind of expecting a breakout to new highs, and so they're getting long here. The professionals step in and take profits. We have a little bit of weakness. We come back up to new highs, and the professionals are in again on an up bar here. So then we kind of break a little bit higher again. The amateurs getting short too early, and we come up again into the 14s, and there's a final little blue professional up bar into a pullback to end of trend. So they're definitely taking profits, and they've got resting sell orders and resting kind of profit taking orders sitting at these highs, and that's why on the way up on these up bars, that's why the pro signal the professional bars signal on those up bars, and then they're so anxious to take profits and get out, they jump on board with that blue professional down bar there. So they're anxious to get out, they're kind of following the market down. You see big trade size as they're getting out of their positions, they're anxious to get on out at that top. Okay, so that's what's going on there. Then the market kind of sells off by about 3 or 4 points. And the next time, so we see an exhaustion selling signal here, and this is kind of showing the strength of kind of getting out of those moves. The question is that Miles had was, let me just pull this up on his email. It was looking like it was getting ready to make a decent move to the downside. All those blue professional bars came in on the 500 tip bar chart, making it look like the professionals were getting the thing going. Do the professionals game it lower out of the consolidation zone, then reverse their position for a quarter points later? Or is it that the professionals are selling it off and then other professionals step in to pick it up? So the way I'd interpret it here, these are professionals who are taking profits at these highs, but then as soon as we come back into a support level here and the lows of those blue professional bars hold, you can see that's actually just picking it up at those lows, expecting continuation of the uptrend, or at least continuation of strength. The lows of those blue professional bars don't get taken out at that support level. We didn't fall into a downtrend here. There were a couple on the 500 tip bar chart. There was a couple of blue professional bars kind of earlier on that kind of came in, but on the 1500, these are the more significant ones that did actually hold. Now, this ended up being a pullback to end of trend on the 4500 tip bar chart, so this market needed to find its full exhaustion pattern here. And I always think about it like this. I always think about the market in terms of being resonating in different frequencies. On small days, we're resonating on the smaller time frames. On kind of medium trend days, we're resonating on the median time frames, and then on the big move days, we're resonating in the higher time frames. And this is why I have two sets of charts set up here. On the lower time frame charts, I've got my 500, 1500 and 4500 tip bar chart, and then this second set of tabs has these longer time frame charts. The 4500, which is the same on the lower time frame charts, this one exactly the same chart here. The 4500, 13,000 and then 40,500. So what you see is trend moves on small days in the lower time frames on the 500 tip bar chart will be resonating with support and resistance on the 4500 tip bar chart. Medium days will be trend moves on 1500 kind of resonating with support and resistance on 13,500, and then on bigger moves you've got trend moves on 4,500 resonating in the 40,500. Now on Friday's activity, you can see we'd busted up through this resistance on 13,500 on this cycle move here. So once we have a break above a resistance or a support, I'm looking for that to be caught by the resistance or support on the next time frame higher. So you can see we overshoot this time frame and we're caught by resistance on the next time frame up. So because this day we'd gone that much further, we're going to be caught on this next time frame. That means that we're going to get a trend move in the lower time frame that'll sync up with that resistance move on 40,500, and that means the 4,500 tip bar chart, we're likely to see a pullback to end of trend, or pullback to dirty end of trend. So I know that's a little bit complicated, but the market is kind of resonating in different frequencies. Some days we have really small ranges and we're looking for pullback to end of trends on the 500 tip bar chart. Medium days, pullback to end of trend on 1500, and then bigger days, 4,500 tip bar chart. So because we'd overshot in those higher time frames here, we're going to be caught in the next time frame up, which means we need to wait for this pullback to end of trend on the 4,500 tip bar chart. So although on the 1500, we'd had this move in, pullback to end of trend, and everything looks like it was kind of rolling over, we still needed to give it time for the 4,500 tip bar chart to kind of play itself out. And that was a support level that was coming in on that higher time frame chart there. So we had both of those supports kind of coming in. We had blue professional bars on this higher time frame, which means that's a really important kind of inflection point. Now, if it had gone, if the support level had both those time frames had broken, we'd been into a strong downtrend. But because that support level held, those blue professional bars held, you could see that the highs kind of get taken out, not the lows get taken out on that little sequence. So that was what was going on there. Now, are the professionals kind of gaming it lower, reversing their positions 3/4 point lower, and so on? I always think of it like this, that I'm always looking for the last signal on Better Pro-Am is the most significant one. The indicator kind of is updating bar by bar. The last pro or amateur bar I see on the indicator is the one that's most significant to me. Looking back, it kind of shows me what was going on, but I'm more interested in the most current signal on here. So yes, at the beginning of the day we did have a little bit of a gathering pattern, and that was a blue professional bar kind of jumping the creek. And then we did have profit taking here, here, and here. But it's the last one that's kind of most significant to me. And then as soon as we see blue professional bars kind of coming in at the lows and this support level holding, yes, they were taking profits up here, but that's the most significant one for me. And the reason we didn't kind of run much further than kind of 15.15 up here, partly I think was to do with weather. We had this Nemo storm kind of rolling into New York and the East Coast, and a lot of people would have been heading home and just kind of battening down the hatches. So the fact that this was a really low range day for the rest of the day, this was kind of really consolidated and tight, and not a lot of activity kind of going on here. I think it was more kind of weather related, but that was definitely kind of buying these lows in expectations of kind of higher profits up here, but it didn't work out. The market didn't kind of bust up, and they kind of probably needed to just get out with kind of minimum profits or minimum losses kind of up here. So my interpretation would be that this is profit taking, and this is actually buying the lows. That it didn't travel very far just means, I think that was just a function of the market. We could have easily, on days where the market is topping out with a pullback to under trend on the 4,500 tip bar chart, what we normally see is the market kind of closes on the highs, and we just bust this high was made kind of before 10 in the morning. That high would normally have been busted by a half point or a point kind of later on the day, then by another half point or a point kind of later on the day, and we'd have inched up during the afternoon in two higher highs, slightly higher highs, not by much on the way up, but normally those would work out for those professional traders kind of coming in here. They would be able to take profits kind of at just above the previous high, just a half point above, and they'd be quite happy with a 3 or 4 point move. The professionals, some are looking for 10 point, 12 point type moves, some are looking for 3 or 4 point moves, so they'd be quite happy to take profits there. And I think the reason we didn't bust up through 15s, we would have normally on a normal kind of day like that, was more kind of weather related than anything. Could just show weakness that that they just keep on selling coming into that 15. They just were anxious to keep on push it down, because that they see this as a really important level. We'll find out Sunday's trade into Monday's trade what the thinking was going on there, but I definitely think they were kind of buying into those lows with expectations for it to just pop above 15, and it was weather related. That's a theory at least. So hopefully that was helpful to Miles. Again, I'm still kind of sitting on this kind of bearish view of the market, but obviously it's taking its time to roll over, so I don't know what to expect for Monday and Tuesday. So I hope you're enjoying your weekend. If you're kind of snowed in or snowbound, hopefully it's not too bad, and looking forward to next week's trade.